Beautiful. Great, great, great. I'm super excited now because I'm like, it's because, last week we had some little technicals as well, Instagram.
Yeah.
And now tonight, I'm like, oh, Lord.
Like right now.
Listen. Well, since we got that out the way, all right.
Yeah.
Welcome so much to our Indie Talk segment. So I'm the host, Aasha Redway, and my co-host, Danielle. She is out today, but I know she in the comments. So
Okay,
she definitely wanted to be here tonight and speak with you.
Yeah.
So guys,
I'm
thank you so much for tuning in. So I know we're just going to go ahead and get started as everybody start coming in. Thank you so much for tuning in to our Thursday segment, Indie Talks. We have a very awesome, beautiful, talented, high-spirited artist by Nezi.
Hey, y'all.
And I am super excited to be talking to you tonight because I definitely want to dig into this Love Trip EP.
Yes.
Is burning up. Like it's like amazing. Like I'm talking about a true definition of R&B.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Thank you. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right on into this. I mean, really, for those who do not know, okay, I know you probably get this year. We're gonna start off general, but introduce yourself. Let them know who is Nezi and how you got started with off in music.
So hey y'all, my name is Nezi. I'm from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Don't clown me. Everybody be like, "Where's Arkansas?" Oh my God. If I might be the first person from Arkansas, so there you go. Pine Bluff, Arkansas. And I got into music like really young. I was born in Chicago, and my mom, she was an R&B singer. Grew up in the church. Watching my mom sing and kind of like sparked the interest of like, can I sing? Like, what can I do? Because I really like what she's doing. And so at a very young age, around like 6 or 7, I started listening to Brandy. And once I really admired her tone, just the way she sounded, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna learn these songs, and just started like mimicking the way like Brandy would sing. And I used to put on shows for my mom as well. And so at that point, she realized that I can sing. And so I just kind of went into like church as well, singing in church choir. I was in choir at school, choir in undergrad. I was in band in high school. And I knew at that moment, like, okay, I really, really want to sing. And I need to leave Arkansas in order to do this, because there's not really like a music scene per se in Arkansas. And so at that point, I was like, all right, so I need to get to New York or LA. Like, but I really want to go to New York because I always kind of dreamed of being in New York. And so
how can you
how am I going to get up here though? And so I saw NYU's music business program, and I was like, that'd be cool, because I don't really know the music business anyway. As an artist, I feel like, that'll help me be very well-rounded. So I was like, all right, let me shoot my shot and apply to their program. Got into their program. I was like, yep, that's my one-way ticket to New York.
Right now
in 2018 with that grad program, I'm in music business at Steinhardt. And I've been here ever since 2016 is when I first started that program, and finished in 2018. So I've just been up here grinding, making connections, writing, collabing, and just doing my thing. And recently just dropped this EP over a month and a half. So we here.
All right now. I love it. I love it. Definitely pursuing, our true artists, pursuing their dreams, their goals, their passions, and definitely, hanging hold to it, and, just trying to elevate yourself. So amazing. Yeah. So I know you talked about, being from Arkansas, and, you're here in New York, and you're in the music career, you're singing, doing all this stuff. How important is having representation, being that you are from Arkansas? You said some people crack some jokes. Yeah. But how is it important to have that representation in your music, though?
To me, it's really important, because I realize the other artists that are like pursuing like their music and artistry from Arkansas, realizing like, how like you'll go to a big city like here in New York, you'll hear people from Chicago, you'll hear people from LA, from those music hubs. And so when I say Arkansas, they're like, huh? Like, they got people like black people in Arkansas, and then they got people really like you in Arkansas. I'm like, wait. Let's kind of like let's
like don't come from my city,
right? Don't come from my city, because it's actually a really black city. Because my city also has an HBCU. Like, it's a really black city, and so I kind of use that as like an educational moment to like let people know like, hey, there are like some dope music artists out in Arkansas. So for me, it's really like I'm really big on like putting my city on like up here in New York, because most times I've encountered that I'm the first person from Arkansas that people meet in the industry here. So like it's really important to me to like always like let people know what I'm interviewing, whether it's a blog writer, like, hey, I am from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Like I was born in Chicago, but I very much identify with the South of in Arkansas. So yeah, it's really important to me that people know that, because you know when you hear of like small towns, you kind of it's kind of a big thing for the city to see like someone doing like big, you know, this is a big deal for me to be like in New York and kind of spreading the word about just my, you know, my background as an artist, and then kind of put others on as well.
All right. Amazing. So now the question. So you have a lovely voice. As I said in the beginning, I feel this EP, or just your voice in itself is just pure, true R&B.
Thank you so much.
How
That
does
really
it
means a
stand
lot.
out? Because I put a post up earlier. You know, Billboard did a spread with Janae Aiko, Tiana Taylor, and
Yeah.
who else? Summer Walker, and I think with
Kaylani, Summer
Kalani,
Walker.
yes.
Yeah.
And you know these women are amazing R&B. So you know with the I was not competition, but because you all have your own uniqueness, what makes you stand out coming into this game?
Yeah, the R&B space. Yeah, I think that my writing style is different. I think I write in a way just because I have kind of like a background in just like poetry. I've always like read poetry, wrote poetry. I was very shy about it when I was growing up, just because for me it was writing was the outlet for me to kind of just get out how I felt, because I very much grew up feeling misunderstood. So
Okay.
writing, I use that as kind of like that driving thing for me to kind of like, you know, get out my feelings. So I was reading a lot of poetry. I've connected like with my friends through poetry. That's something like I really take like pride on with my writing.
Okay.
Because I just feel super connected. I feel like my writing is very conversational too. Like it's like, oh,
Mm.
okay, she's talking to her homegirl, you know, type thing. And so, and I feel like my sound is different, you know, like I feel like every artist at some point, once you get, you know, bigger and bigger, of course they're gonna put like you in like, oh, you sound like, or similar vibes
This.
as X, Y, and Z. And so I feel like my sound is different. I don't really think anyone sounds like me. I feel like you could, if anything, say like you have a vibe like X, Y, and Z. But like to
Mm-hmm.
sound, I don't think I sound like anyone. Which I'm trying to use that as my like driving force for me to kind of elevate in this industry, because you know a lot of people are always like, we want to hear something different. We already hear like what's trending, and so like
Right.
I feel like it's a really good time to kind of showcase like my sound, my writing style, and just who I am as an artist. So I think I stand out because of like my approach to writing, and then how I sound sonically.
Okay. So I want to ask who, I know you said one name that I'm, you know, I'm a diehard fan, Brandy.
Uh-huh.
So of course I want to
Yes.
know your, is she just one of your biggest influences? Because, you know, I'm not even going to lie. I know you definitely said that you don't sound like anyone, but I heard some riffs and some
Yeah.
different sounds that kind of definitely took me to, oh shoot, okay, Brandy must be her Brandy and her
Yeah.
must be one of her
Yeah.
inspired artists. So who
Uh-huh.
inspires you, and who is one of your favorite songwriters of all time?
Whew. Okay, so I feel like this is always a hard question for me, because of course I feel like Brandy is someone that really inspires me, just because she was kind of the first piece of like music I played in my CD player. You know, like she was the first CD like I started playing like in my CD player when, you know, I was little. But like I'm
Right.
very much inspired by like Monica, by Maya, by
Mm.
Jasmine Sullivan.
Oh yeah.
Um yes, I'm very much inspired by those girls. And songwriters now, or just in general, that's hard. It's a lot of songwriters that I really admire their approach to writing. I really like James Fauntleroy. He's written
Mm.
for like, oh, so who you name it, like everybody. um,
Yes.
he's it's just his just the way he writes is just so different. Like I can't even. It's just so telling. So it's like the storytelling. Then like I feel like I can see what he's writing. And I feel like a current writer who I really respect right now is Victoria Monet.
Oh,
I really
love
love her
her.
writing style. Like her writing style is
Love
just
her.
so witty and so catchy and just well put together. And that's one thing I look for, like when I'm just listening to an artist, like how well put together his song is. Like when you can just flow from a song from like flow in a song from beginning to end. It's like this is a really good put together song. And so that's why I really admire the way she writes.
Yeah.
Her and Taylor Parks, I really like them too. So
Okay.
yeah.
Amazing, amazing. And so, of course, since we're on the subject of songwriting, so and you talked about like storytelling, like this EP for Love Trip. I mean, first of all, from the beginning to the end, it's definitely a story, and I love the confidence in it
Yeah,
for
thank
a
you.
woman, the sexual appeal and
Yeah.
everything like that. I
That
think
was
it was
very
definitely
intentional. That was
amazing.
very intentional.
So speaking of visual and and songwriting, so Diet is my favorite track. Okay.
Yay! That's actually gonna be the next single, so that's
Oh,
great to hear.
okay. So Diet is my favorite track. I want you to talk about your songwriting process, like the story line behind this EP, because I mean it like I said, it just oozes true R&B from the
Yeah.
production down to the songwriting. So I mean, really give us that, like talk about that.
Yeah. So, my inspiration at first, when I first started my process, I started back in 2019 of January. I started recording with my engineer, who was also my manager, Alexis, and I just had floating at first. It was just a loop, and I had floating. I was like, I really love this song because at the time I was in a long distance relationship, and I just really had feelings for the guy, and I was just like, this song is really about him, and I just want to get it out. Because I just truly feel this way. And so when she heard it, and she was just like, this sounds really good. You sound really good. Like, are you looking to build? Like, are you just doing this as a one-off thing? Or are you like seriously trying to, build your career and like, do some music? And I was like, yeah, I'm trying to, take it all the way. And so from there, she was just like, okay, like I'm definitely down to work with you and really collab with you and just like grow with you. And so for me, that was very much a pivotal moment for me, realizing that like I always imagined working with a black woman, and so the fact that was happening too, I was just like, oh wow, okay, like let's do it then. And so from there, I kind of struggled with like finding the right producer. Like I was finding some dope producers, but I'm very simplistic sometimes, and sometimes producers they tend to get a little too detailed in their productions. And so for me, I like and it's not, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but for, depending on the artist, it could definitely not, stick
Might
for
not
the,
can
type
be
of
able to collab. Yeah.
right. And so then I'm like, okay. So I asked one of my friends, I was like, hey, look, I'm looking for a producer and I'm trying to make a project. And so he gave me two names. I forgot the first guy's name, but then he was like, my friend Veronica, she's a dope producer. And I was just like, oh, another woman. Like, would love to work with her. And so Veronica produced basically the entire EP except for On the Way. So shout out to Veronica, and BC produced On the Way.
I know
And so
her.
from there I had I had Floating, and then I had Take It There, and then I had You on You. And so all these songs are really inspired by my relationship that I was in at the time, to a certain extent. Floating is definitely that song that kind of inspired by my my ex. What's not inspired by him, honestly?
Shout out to the exes for the
Right. They
inspiration.
look, you get some when you're in pain, you get some good music though.
Right.
So You on You is definitely inspired by him, because it's kind of like, it's crazy because all these songs weren't me thinking like, let me make this, let me name it Love Trip. Like the title came afterwards. Like I just saw like, okay, wait, I'm actually telling a story here without trying to tell a story. And so from there I was like, all right, I had all the vocals recorded. We're in the rough stages of the mixes. So I sent it to my friend Ty, that's also a singer-songwriter. I was like, can you check this out? I don't know what to name this, because I'm too in my head thinking about it now. And he was like listening to it, and he was just like, it sounds like you're on a journey. I was like, it does, but I don't know what to name it. And he was like, why don't you name it Love Trip? And I was just like, hold on now. We got something. And he was just like, that was his like first instinct to just say love trip. And he kind of second guessed it because he was like, oh, you really like that title? I'm like, yeah, like it really describes a journey and me taking a trip from like the beginning stages of a relationship to it kind of falling by the wayside. So yeah, that's the kind of the journey of the songs. Take It There is obviously the song about like, you know, when you feeling somebody, you don't know if you want to like take it to the next level and get exclusive. Then you got On the Way. There's clearly y'all, you know, in some type of situation. You on the way to see Dave.
Entanglement.
Right, it might be an entanglement, you know. And then you got Diet. That's the sex song. So you know, sparks are flying a little bit, and then you got Floating. You got Sure, and then Sure is like the realization of love. Then you got Floating when you're in the thick of love. And You on You is like the, okay, we at odds, we arguing now. And Fed Up is like, all right, I'm done with this. So yeah, that is Love Trip in a like little nutshell.
Listen, but like I said, it's an amazing EP, and I that's so. I tell everybody this like every episode, like anybody that knows me or get to know me, like I'm definitely about lyrics. Like I've listened to, like before I really get into like the production style of the music, like I have to listen to like a album like multiple times because I listen to it in different phases. So of course, like I'm listening to all the lyrics, and I was just like, yo, this is the tightest story flow ever. Like when I say, like, I was just so excited to have like to hear R&B again. And it was so funny because once I really listened to you the past couple of weeks, all the talking about R&B and where it's in the current state. And I can really see you, you know, I pray to God this does happen, and I manifest it for you, like, you know, to be in that realm with women like that, because you have a very talented, you know, voice and writing skills that is amazing. You know, it leaves me speechless. But
thank you so
that's
much.
Amazing. You're welcome.
I really appreciate that, because there was a point in time when I was like very much doubting myself. Like this was like end of 2018, and I was just like, I was talking to my friend Ty, and I was like, look, I don't know, like I don't even know if I can like full time write. And he was just like, yes, you can. Like everything you telling me your life story, like that's enough to write about. Like, you know, like you have a story to tell. So like just write it. Don't worry about like what people think, just write it. And you know, sometimes as writers, we get in our head thinking like, wait, did I say that right? And sometimes it's like, just get the emotion out. Like sometimes my process is like, I just write it down. Like sometimes I just free write, no beat, no anything. Like, and I think my friend Kiana, like she's in the chat. We're always talking about journaling. She's always talking about journaling, and I started journaling. The more I started journaling, just getting out how I felt, the easier it became to just write. Because sometimes, like I said, we get too in our head trying to structure a song, when at first sometimes it's like, hey, just jot down some words of how you're feeling. Once you get the words out, okay, let's make like full sentences of how this is making you feel. And then sometimes like I'll write to a beat and can instantly like just write. When I just not put bounds on myself, like, you know, sometimes we think we have to write to a beat. And it's like, no, you don't have to. You know, sometimes it's really about getting that true emotion out. Like raw emotion. Sometimes when you're in the thick of the emotion, it's probably the best time to write, you know, to get it out. So shout out to my bestie for, and also shout out to Ty for like them really being my like two rocks for like encouraging me to like pushing me to just write how I feel and just, you know, being expressive on my like writing journey.
Amazing. And shout out to the friends. Being that support. So amazing detail. I because you know I'm looking for a visual. I'm waiting for the treatment. So I know before I go to the next, I do want to ask, because you know, do you have an ideal and you know how you want to do the treatment and
so
the setup?
On the Way is my lead single off the project. So we definitely getting a visual soon for that one.
Okay.
Can't say you win, but it's definitely coming. Like it's definitely coming. Okay. So I'm really excited about that. I'm looking to do some like live tapings of like stripped down versions of like Sure and my other songs, just because I'm really about like showcasing my vocal. Because I feel like sometimes in R&B, especially now in R&B, people are like hiding behind like the track beats and stuff. And so it was very important that this EP for me was very vocal forward. Like my vocals were like standing out a lot because I wanted people to know. Because, you know, in R&B, like traditional R&B, I feel like there's like a talk about how like nobody really singing anymore. You know, like everybody's hiding behind some of the beats and like not really like showcasing the voice. Because to me, R&B is all about the emotion and the voice and the tone and the way we captivate that emotion.
I agree.
Yeah, and so it was really important to me, like, all right, so this is my first project. I really want people to know that, for one, I can write, two, I can sing, you know, and three, just tell my story while doing all those things, you know.
Of course, right. Because they're like, listen, you gonna listen, they gonna know you can sing, all right? Because I enjoyed the unplug that you did, and it's just amazing. You know, because I felt even more 10 times better because, you know, of course, like you said, some artists can hide behind the sound and the production. And because right soon, like I said, as soon as I heard it, it was like, okay, yo, she's good. Oh, okay. Yeah. But I didn't even know the no. And
like
the unplugged and the covers.
You'll hear them live and you're like, hold on, wait, you don't sound like the, you know, and I never want to be that artist that where you hear me on the recording, you're like, I love it, and then you hear me live, you're like, what's she doing? Like, so yeah, it was very
like,
important.
Sweetie, get off the stage.
Right, okay. So it was important for me to literally, like, I was telling Alexis, shout out to Alexis for mixing and mastering the project, and she co-produced the last 2 songs. So shout out to her for really listening to me as an artist. She's never like the engineer and that'll like kind of make you think like, no, it needs to sound like this. She very much listens to me and like, okay, you want to be more vocal for it, let's make sure we showcase that. So yeah, just shout out to everybody that's been a part of this project, you know.
That's amazing. So speaking of the producers and everybody that you work with, you know, I know you talked about you know, being a connect to be able to get one of the producers for the project. Have you had a creative clash where it's just like, you know what, you're not even paying attention to where I'm trying to go? And how did you were able to handle that?
I have had a creative clash before, and it wasn't so much of like an argumentative type of situation. It was just me realizing like, okay, this person likes what I'm doing, but they're trying to tug me and nudge me this way, and they should already believe, you know, I'm very much, if you believe in what I'm doing now, let's just enhance on that. And it was very much like, I like it, but let's go this way. It's like, no, I respect you as a creative because, you know, everyone has their process, but that's when I realized like, okay, this is when it's time to like step away without having like bad blood, because I'm never one to like want to leave a bad blood with people. That's why I'm super transparent with people I work with, like, hey, like this is the sound I'm looking for, can you deliver it? And sometimes people say yeah because they're like, oh, I can do anything. We have producers that say they can do anything, and honestly, when it comes down to doing it, sometimes they can't do it, you know. So those have been the little like tug of war moments I've had with a couple of producers. They're very talented, but I just realized that their sound didn't work with my sound, you know.
Got it. Okay. So we done talked about the vocals, we done talked about the songwriting, and, you know, definitely when knowing how to pick your producers to help that basically mesh with your sound. What other learning experiences have you, that you want to say positive, because I know, you know, everybody in the industry don't have negative, but let's shine some sunshine today. What positive can you really say that you have taken from this journey going into the industry and working with other creatives that you can really just share with us?
Yeah, so some positive things that I can share is definitely that there are people out there willing to help you. I know sometimes we think like, you know, I don't have the budget for this, you know, I don't have this, I don't have that. And it's like, while that may be true, there are people out there that are willing to help you. You never know. Sometimes you can offer an exchange of services. Let's say you're an engineer and like you're looking to work with like an artist. Like you can exchange like, hey, I'm looking to actually like practice mixing vocals. I can give you a free mix if you like, you know, work with me. Or like even if like you're looking for a photographer, like exchange of services. Like, hey, I do actually social media. Like I'll do your social media if we can do a free shoot, you know, like things like that. Like, don't think there are people out there that won't help you. You know, sometimes you have to ask. look, a closed mouth don't get fed.
I
So
was
my
just,
mama
you took it
always
right out of my mouth.
a
Took
closed
it
mouth
right
don't get
out.
fed. Okay, so
This is
sometimes you just
true.
have to open up and speak up for yourself and say like, hey, I can do this. I have this dope idea. And sometimes you just never know. Some people are just looking for like to mentor somebody. If you're looking for a mentor, like all you have to do is just ask like, hey, I'm looking for a mentor. Like, do you know someone? They might be like, hey, I'm looking for a mentee. What's up? You know, you
Like,
just
let's
never
connect, make
know.
this thing
Yeah,
happen.
let's connect. You know, sometimes we think that like, oh, I don't have this, forget it, I can't do it. It's like, no,
Right.
you got to get creative, and you have to also be willing to like sometimes, risk. So I'll say the positive takeaway for sure I've just experienced is that people are actually willing to help you. So like definitely open your mouth, let people know what you need, because even if they can't help you, they're probably willing to direct you to the right person just because off the strength of you being a nice and approachable person. I tell people, they're like, yo, how are you making these moves? Like, how are you doing this? I'm like, honestly, at the end of the day, like, people like genuine people. When you're just authentic and yourself and you come correct, that goes a long way in this shiesty industry. Like, this industry is full of just like evil ass people, like people that don't give two rats ass about anything, like they don't care if you're like struggling. It's like, oh, okay, figure it out. So it's like when you're just genuine to people and just authentic and you come with them with the right approach, there's people that actually care about that. I'm one of those people.
Right.
Like if somebody's like, hey, Nezi, like I need help with this. Even if you can't help me, can you direct me to the right person? And or if they're like, hey, can you listen to a track for me? Like I'm really unsure. Like, can you help me out with this? I'm willing to help because for one, you came into my like, emails or DMs very respectable of like just who I am. You came with, professionalism. And so at that point, I'm like, hey, let's work. What's up? What do you need? So yeah, don't ever underestimate the power of being kind. That's another like just takeaway, just the power of being a kind person, because people encounter so many just disrespectful and rude people in the industry. And I've encountered a couple myself, and I'm sure you have too. So it's
Listen.
refreshing to work with kind and nice people and respectable people. So yeah, those are my like positive takeaways. Just be kind, be yourself, and speak up for yourself, and yeah, believe in yourself.
Amazing, amazing. Great, definitely a good takeaway. So I hope those who are like, because we get a lot of aspiring artists and artists that are in the industry that definitely reach out to us and talk to us. So if there's any on here, please, I hope you took note of that.
Yes.
and definitely hold on to that and understand that, because I 100% agree with you. Sometimes we don't always have the money to say, hey, I can put up this, I put up that, but kindness can definitely get you a long way, and being genuine. And also, when someone realizes that, okay, you're here to work, like, wow, you're like, I see the drive in you, I hear it, I can see the potential with everything that you're doing. So it's the fact that your aura can ooze like, this is my passion. Like, I'm not here to play no games.
Yep,
Period.
energy doesn't
Okay.
lie. Look, energy don't lie. Okay, so people can pick up when you're being genuine and like really serious about your craft. From there it's like, all right, let me, because that's if I'm being super transparent. When I met Alexis at the time, I didn't have the money to just go to a session. Like, the New York studios be high, and so she saw like, oh, you're putting out covers and content. I give you one, like, let's just see where it goes. I give you just one like free session. What's up? Like, you gonna pull up? And so it was like she didn't know me then. She didn't have to do that, but because I was so kind to her, because I showed her like I was very serious about my career, she was like, I'm willing to take this chance on this person. A lot of people don't do that, which I get it, because you gotta make your money, you gotta make your move,
Right.
you gotta do that. But and there are people out there willing to do that. You just have to put the work in and just, like I said, just be a genuine kind person. Really does take you far.
It takes you a long way.
It really does.
So I kind of want to pull back just a little, because I know you definitely talked about, going to NYU, studying music business. So the one thing that, our platform represents is, education. Of course, we're talking to artists. We're, we give tips. We get tips from the artists themselves who's going through this. Talk about some things that you basically, how you stay on the known in of the music business, because of course you study it, and you know, and the industry is changing
Right.
constantly, you know. So
Right.
how do you stay current?
I would say I stay current by definitely networking. Networking. Some people are actually scared to network. I get it, but luckily I'm not one of those people. I'm very like outspoken and just like I just a people person, so I'm always looking to meet people. But I definitely
Same here.
encourage. Yeah, you know, I've definitely encouraged the introverts to become more of ambiverts. To, you know, try to branch out and like step outside of that like closed shell and like get to know people and network, because honestly that's how you get far. A lot of the game is like networking with the right people, honestly. So I feel like that helps me stay current, and also I just try to see what the R&B girls are doing now. Like, what are they doing now that's working? What are they doing that ain't working? Where do I fit in? Like, okay, so like for example, like we see that like the Billboard thing, like we got Janae, we got Tiana, we got Summer, and we got, who is it, Janae,
Kalani.
Kaylani. Yeah, so those are the four. I feel like this year definitely they nailed that. That's been very much in the current of that. So it's like seeing what they're
I'm
doing.
gonna add one more person. Her. I think
Her,
she's
yes,
been
her.
killing the
Was,
game. Yeah,
you know
she's
what?
been killing it.
She's been killing. She's very much a solid R&B artist.
Yes.
I love her. I love her like aesthetic, her sound, all of that. So I would add her in too. But
Yes.
with those artists, it's like what are they doing?
Mm-hmm.
What are they not doing? Finding like, because you know everyone doesn't do every little thing right. We're human. We're artists. We don't do every little thing right. What are they doing?
Right.
What do I think they're not doing? And then where do I like fit in a place of opportunity? So like with that, I just try to make sure I kind of just study the game. Like what sounds, what songs did were on the billboards of theirs? You know, what song did they promote as a single but didn't really like get that love that they thought? You know, what was the sound of it? Like, you know, so sometimes I'm always like studying, looking at interviews. I feel like that's how you stay current as an artist too. Half the battle is kind of studying the game too, you know. And you don't have to necessarily go to school for that. You can study the game by going on YouTube, looking at interviews, because I watch a lot of interviews and watch how like, etiquette and how they talk and stuff. That's a lot of, that stuff you can study too, because you don't want to be that artist that's out here just talking, talking outside of your neck, and then you say something wrong. And
then you're like,
you
oh, I need a publicist. I need a publicist.
Right. No, sometimes that's important, especially, and then having a publicist, I feel like people think that's like a bad thing. Like, oh, I know how to talk. It's like, it's a little beyond that. Like, it's not just about talking. Like, it could very much be a topic you thought you wasn't sensitive about, but now you get super emotional and get defensive,
Yeah.
in the interview. So it's like, people don't think about that. Like, it's very much like all of that. So I feel like that helps you just to stay current. Like, listen to what's working now, listen to what's not working now. Talk to like, there's an app called Clubhouse that people are now like, it's in beta mode, but like it's a very good like networking space. If you're on Clubhouse and get an invite to it, like listen to the people that are like in the game, that's been in the game for 15-20 years. Like they know they've seen what worked, they see what hasn't worked. So listen to them, like they drop gems, and just connect with them and be someone that's open to receiving criticism and feedback. That's a lot of like, that's a lot you have to like be open to in music. Like somebody can definitely tell you they don't like your sound. I've had people tell me they don't like how I sing. Like if they don't like Beyonce, come on. Like you can't.
We're not gonna come for the beehive, okay?
Right. If people say they don't like Beyonce, which is crazy, but people say they don't like Beyonce, you have to know that like someone's not gonna like how I sound. Like, right. And be okay with that, because you won't cater to every audience,
This is
so
very
that's
true.
another thing, just to stay current. You just gotta study and listen to what's out, what's working, and like look at interviews too, and music videos, because some people's music video treatments be interesting. So you want to make sure like all right, so what like I think about stuff like that. I look at like, okay, I didn't think they would go that way for this song, so let me think about what I'm doing. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna go that way, I'm gonna go this way. Like, you really
right.
You just have to look and see what's out there, what's like aesthetically pleasing too.
You done said a lot. And
look, I know, like, I'm talking, but I'm just trying to drop some gems for the folks, okay?
I love it. I love it. Great gems. Great gems. So guys, I hope y'all had your pen and your pad and you was taking notes, okay?
Right. That was a lot, okay?
Listen, because she done said it. And you know, I agree, 100% agree with a lot that you have said. And you know, my years of definitely being working in this industry, and the one thing that I definitely want to pin out that you have said is that it's okay if somebody don't like your sound, because everybody, you're not everybody's cup of tea. And it's amazing because you said Beyonce, because a lot of times on the show, like Dale and I are big Beyonce fans, and you know, and for you say, because I've actually heard some people say I don't like Beyonce.
Girl, yes,
and I'm just like, okay, in what aspect you don't like Beyonce?
Right.
You know, because I feel, you know, because at the end of the day, you know, as artists, you know, the one thing that I love Beyonce and how she set as an example is not only always elevating herself as an artist, you know, she's elevating herself as a business person.
Right.
She's always trying to learn. And if someone don't like your sound, somebody might just like the fact that you are a go-getter, period.
Yep.
Or, you know, or you really just know how to, you know, maneuver in a way that they probably can't even maneuver. You know what I'm saying? So that's amazing, and I'm really glad that you were able to, you know, talk about that and say it with confidence, because you know, some artists get defensive about the fact that, well, you don't like my stuff, like, oh, this is the best thing that's out here.
Right. Yeah. I feel like you have to be open-minded. Like that's the only way you're gonna grow. Like I said, if people have told me like I don't like this, and just straight up just told me like I don't like this, or like I like it, but I feel like you can do better. Like, and that's all. This is all the good, and you have to take the good and the bad, and not see it as a like, oh, I'm not. You know, don't get
someone
like
always attacking.
Right. Don't think of it as people attacking you. It's just, you know, music, art is subjective. People again, they don't like Beyonce, and it's crazy to us fans, but it's like they don't like her, you know.
It's okay.
That's okay.
Right.
It's in the world.
Right. So let me tell you, I thank you so much for speaking with us tonight.
Yes.
This was an amazing conversation. You have an awesome vibe. I love it. Okay.
You have great energy. I'm so happy that I'm here to share my story and to talk to y'all. I wish Danielle was here too, but
yes, we missed Danielle.
We will catch up again later at some point. I'm sure of it. So
definitely. And you know, please let for those who don't know or have your direct contact or anything like that, far as like your social media, please shout it out. Let them know where you be, what you got coming up.
Yes. So again, for those in the chat, my name is Nezi, R&B singer songwriter. I have an EP that just dropped a month and a half ago called Love Trip. It's out on all platforms, Spotify, all this stuff. You can even do a TikTok. Okay, so go get Love Trip. I'm open to collabing with anyone in this season. I'm definitely trying to grow as an artist, always willing to like help where I can help. So definitely hit me up in my DMs. Stay open. I respond. Yeah, find me on all socials at Nezi Music.
She open for music. Let me clarify. She's open for music.
Right, for
collabs.
music. Thank
Nothing
you.
else.
Right, for music. For music.
Clarify, the DMs is open.
Okay, for the music.
Thank you so much for that. Oh my goodness, girl, let's stay connected. You already know. You ain't been there any Long Island. Listen, okay. But thank you, in all seriousness, thank you so much. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. You know, just for you to come on and really tell your story the way it should be told and how it should be heard, and the music. So guys, if like she said, please, Love Trip, her newest EP, please purchase it, stream it, download, however which way. Let's support true artistry, okay? And Nezi, we thank you so much for being here with us tonight, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, and you have a good night.